Hello, everybody. Welcome to Late Night Football. Welcome to our match reaction show. It's finished. Juventus 3, Real Madrid 1. And before we get into the actual reaction, I just want to point out how hot was it in Florida. I mean, the players were drenched. They look drenched. The t-shirts look drenched. It's interesting. It's interesting, funny, whatever you want to weird, whatever you want to call it. But then I felt for the players to have to play in that kind of Florida heat. I know Florida gets very, very hot in the summers, and to have to play in that kind of heat and to play 90 minutes, I feel for those who had to play 60, 70 minutes, it must have been a real, training experience to do that. So kudos to all of those who played there, and I have my respect for that because just looking at it made me feel like, oh my god, what was going on? But I can only imagine what the players were going through. But that being said, let's get into the reaction of the match. And I mean, it's preseason, and as I've always said throughout this preseason period, I've said it's results don't matter. It's the performances, it's tactics, it's things that you see around the results that matter. So you could win, but still have things to be concerned about, and you can lose and still have things that you can be proud about. And from Real Madrid's point of view, what I've been saying consistently every game, and it's kind of ringing true now as well, is the fact that finishing, that offensive area is a massive problem for Madrid. Now, they might think that we can wait for Mbappe to come in 2024 and things will be okay until then. And that might be the plan. The other plan might be that we'll try and lowball PSG into a lowball offer for Mbappe and try and get him in at the end of the summer. But the reality is they need upgrades in that attacking area, because what we saw from Joselu today, two good chances, and all right, one of them he might have been offside for, but still you got to finish those. Both of those chances are presentable chances, and they should have been finished, and he didn't finish them. And that is a big issue. Now, he has scored a good goal against Manchester United, but I think other than that, he's looked a little bit off sorts. And to be honest, I feel more and more, I feel like he's like a Spanish Ricky Lambert, somebody who shouldn't be at a club like Madrid. If you know Ricky Lambert, But I feel for him, and I know that he's worked very hard to get to this point in his career, and when he wants to enjoy it. But the reality is, the pressures of Madrid are much different to any other club in Europe. And to come from a mid-table club where you've scored 16 goals to come to Real Madrid is a very, very different ball game. And I don't think he's of the requisite quality that Madrid need to be able to win La Liga or win Champions League. He's just not there. But he'll have a lot of burden on. He'll have a big burden on his shoulders, because he seems like the only recognized striker they have at the moment. But he missed two very, very good chances, and that's not going to help him or help his cause at all. But that's the story of the game. The story of the game was Madrid had a lot of chances, and they wasted most of them, whereas Juventus had maybe a few clear-cut chances and they took them. And that, I think, is the story of the game. And there were a few tactical errors in there as well, but we'll talk about the goals first, and then we'll come to those. So the first goal, I mean, it's poor defending from Madrid, isn't it? To be allowed to be cut open so easily in the first minute of the game. You just come off of a 3-0 defeat to Barcelona. You want to make a reaction, you want to make a statement, and to put that kind of defensive shift in for the first minute, it's just bad defending. And I mean, there's just the ball just gets played out. Chiesa just plays it in, a nice little pass to McKennie, and McKennie should score, but he hits the post, but the rebound falls nicely to Kean. He scores, he makes it 1-0. Now you got the lead. And then the second goal, I mean, it's just, again, more poor defending. Both the first two goals came down that right-hand side, which I was very, very interesting to note, because Lucas Vazquez was playing on that side. He's not on the level of Carvajal, but do they need another right back? Perhaps. I mean, maybe there's an issue, because Carvajal is not going to play every game either. So, they looked out of sorts in that first 20-25 minutes. They looked a lot out of sorts. And that second goal was just a sucker punch goal, really. I mean, again, that side, the wingback just has the freedom of Florida to go wherever he wants, and he goes and he puts a nice little cross in to Kean. Kean passes it to McKennie. I don't know where, rather. Sorry, he passed it to Weah. McKennie. Kean passed to McKennie. McKennie passed it to Weah, and Weah scored. And it's it's now 2-1, and suddenly you are looking at 2-0 rather. And you're looking at, oh my god, what's going on here? And it just Madrid looked out of sorts, and then they didn't get the goal back. And that was a wonderful goal from Vinicius Junior. That is the best of Vinicius Junior, when he has the ball and he can run at defenders and he can show his guile and his skill, and it's a good finish. For me, I will say this: I think Vinicius Junior is the player that we all thought Marcus Rashford could become, and I really hope that Marcus Rashford could model his game on Vinicius Junior, because Vinicius got pace, but not along with that pace, he marries that with a very good technical awareness. technical skill, and of course good finishing ability, something that Rashford I think seems to lack still. He still relies too much on pace and chaotic feet rather, or chaotic play, rather than actually using his technical side. So that's something I would say. But it was a good finish from Vinicius, and you thought Madrid were going to rally back, and they tried and they tried. They kept shooting, kept missing, kept getting goalkeeper kept making saves. Sometimes they get into good positions, make wrong passes. I mean, it just didn't work out for them. And finally, the sucker punch came against them again, 3-1. Right at the end with Dusan Vlahovic, which was a good counter, and I think Illing Jr. did very well on that Juventus left hand side, and he switches the play excellently. It comes to Vlahovic. He's I don't know who the goal will be credited to. I think it might be credited to him. It might be credited in his own goal to Courtois, but he did really well to get a shot from there, and it's 3-1. And the game was already gone by that point. I don't think Madrid were going to win from there anyway. But still to go 3-1, it's 3-1 is always better than 2-1, isn't it? If you're Juventus, so they'll be happy with their performance. But from Madrid's side, I mean, they looked average. And one of the key problems, the key tactical issues that I noticed was, he's playing a 4-1-2-1-2. Now, I know why he's playing a 4-1-2-1-2. He's playing a 4-1-2-1-2 because he wants Bellingham to play as a number 10. The problem is you can't play a 4-1-2-1-2 with Kroos and Modric as your two midfielders in 2023. You can't do that. That doesn't work. I mean, Kroos and Modric doesn't work as a midfield pairing anyway, and I think they need to get away from that. And maybe this is preseason, so maybe he won't use it, but they need to get away from that anyway. But if you're going to play a 4-1-2-1-2 to play Kroos and Modric together in that sort of midfield, it's just suicide in a game like this. It's just asking for trouble. It should have been, I think I would suggest trying a 4-2-3-1. That's what I would say for Madrid's point of view. Play a 4-2-3-1. Not with Modric and Kroos, obviously. You've got to bring in Camavinga, you've got to bring in probably Tchouaméni, and then you play maybe Valverde as your right midfielder, whatever. And then you play Vinicius is a left winger, and then you figure out who plays a striker. But that's Rodrigo, that's Joselu, whoever you pick a striker. But it's I think the 4-3-1-2, the 4-1-2-1-2 works. And I said this is a Man United game. It works when you have Camavinga, Tchouaméni, and Bellingham playing in 3 of those 4 midfield roles, because they're very young, they're tenacious, they can do the job, and they can make sure that they stay tight. But the problem is, 4-1-2-1-2 is always good as a shock formation, and after a while teams get used to it, and you can't play that across the season because you'll just get hammered over time, and that's what's happening. Teams are now kind of caught onto it, and they're kind of reacting to it and making sure that they're getting they're getting the hang of it. And what happened in this game was that Madrid were often too narrow because their 2 midfielders were too narrow. So you get too narrow, your wing backs for the opposition just have the freedom of Florida to do whatever they want, and that's the goal came from the wide areas. It didn't come from the center areas, came from the wide areas, because that's what Juventus were doing, just countering and pulling the ball out wide, because everybody was central. So for me, I think he needs to change that. I don't think a 4-1-2-1-2 works. Either you play 4-3-3 with Bellingham as one of your 3 midfielders, and if you really want to play Bellingham as a number 10, then you move to a 4-2-3-1. That's got to be the way forward, and I hope he looks at that. Ancelotti is stubborn, so I don't know if we'll make that change, but that I think is a change that's sorely needed for Madrid to progress this season. Otherwise, it could be a very long season. That being said, I was impressed with Vinicius. I thought he looked really good. And he does look a class apart, doesn't in that team? He does. He's really excellent today. He looked good. I was kind of impressed with Fran Garcia as well. I think he played the full 90, and he looked assured. And I think part of the reason that he's going to play a lot of games is I don't think Ancelotti wants Camavinga to play as a left back anymore. He wants him to play as a midfielder now. And that means he's got to find a consistent left back. And I think he's looked at Fran Garcia and said, right, you can be my left back. So that will be one to keep an eye on as well. But I thought he looked good. But otherwise, I mean, the rest of the team, and Kroos Modric together doesn't work anymore. I mean, I know Kroos got the assist for the Vinicius goal, but still, defensively, it's a liability, and you can't play in a game like this. You can't play those two together. And I think the more Ancelotti's got to realize that it's the same thing that I said with Arsenal. You've got to start playing your best players now, because this is the part of the preseason where you're starting to get ready for the main season. So you want your 11 players to kind of build chemistry together and work together and figure out things together. Instead, if you're going to keep rotating now as well, it's not the best time to be doing that. So I hope we don't see too much more of that rotation, and we start seeing the first 11 play more minutes together from Madrid's point of view. But I thought he got that wrong today. He got the 4-1-2-1-2 wrong. From Juventus's point of view, I was happy. I liked the way that they countered. It's too bad that Juventus don't have any European football this season, so they can really focus. So we won't see them in Europe, but at least they'll be able to focus fully on Serie A this season. But I liked how that midfield 5 worked as a unit. In the counter-attacking system, you need that back 5, back 3, back 5, whatever, in the midfield to really be compact and really know exactly what they're doing. And they look like they knew what they were doing. They knew that they had to stay compact, stay tight, and then counter quickly. And I think Allegri got his tactics spot on from that perspective, and I like that. McKennie, of course, was given the match. I thought he looked good in this game. I don't think there was any standout for Juventus, but I think what was good was that tactically they were all on point. They knew exactly what they wanted to do. They knew what their game plan was, how they were going to approach it, which is very, very good to see. I mean, there was a few nasty tackles towards the end from Barrenechea and Milik, which you could do without. But I mean, that's it's preseason, it's part of the game. Sometimes it's interesting as well. It's preseason, but it looks like Juventus really wanted to win that game. They wanted to win that game. They're willing to do whatever it took to win that game, which is interesting. And Real Madrid should have had a penalty at the end as well. Remember that there was a chance where I'm not sure who it was, Barrenechea made the foul, and the player kind of just rolled and fell outside the box, and that's why. The ref didn't give a penalty. If he had fallen inside the box, it would have been a penalty. So that they got a bit lucky there, Juventus. They did get a bit lucky there. But nonetheless, at the end of the day, like I said, results are not important. It doesn't matter if it was 2-2 of a penalty. The reality is that the Madrid's issues were not going to be masked just because of that. And sometimes it is better to lose 3-1 because now, if they'd gone 2-2, maybe people will, they scored 2 goals, it's not so bad. But actually, the reality is that 3-1, that is bad. And I think being 3-1 losers in this game, so to speak, I think will help Ancelotti see those issues and then maybe address them as well. So there's a positive there if you want to take something, if you're a Madrid fan. I mean, can Juventus win Serie A this season? I mean, based on the performances that we've seen so far, I think that there's something there. I think they could definitely challenge Napoli for Serie A this season. It'll be an interesting battle again. Hopefully Milan get their act together as well, and maybe Inter get back as well. So you could have a nice little battle for Serie A, but we'll keep an eye on that one, of course. Anyway, smash a like on this video if you enjoyed this. Share your thoughts on the game. Share your thoughts on Madrid's performance. Share your thought on Juventus's performance. Do you think Madrid need a striker? Do you think Madrid need another fullback? I mean, are there gaps that need to be addressed? Share your thoughts, of course. Always love to hear your comments. Do subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We always appreciate your support. And we'll see you again very, very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.